Wednesday the 8th.
Got it.
And we are rolling here. We're on auto. And I just double check. We are rolling. Hello. Okay. There we go. Wednesday, June the 8th. Wednesday, June the 8th. Wednesday, June 8th. Wednesday, June 8th. That's my radio voice.
You want to write it down for you?
Yeah, it always looks good for me to have, like, looking like I'm taking notes over here.
Not that, though.
So it's Wednesday, June 8th at our office. So, yeah, it's on Wednesday, June 8th at our office. So I'm Dr. Brian Prax. Who am I? I'm Dr. Brian Prax. My editor gets a fun kick out of these when she gets to edit these out. Hi, Cheryl. Let's cut this part. Wednesday, June 8th. Okay, just go for it.
Yeah, here we go. News Radio 1070 WINA 98.9 FM. You're listening to Charlottesville right now as we go beyond the headlines and dig into really important information for you. And we have our guest here today, Dr. Brian Prax, certified in functional neurology. And Dr. Prax, we're going to talk today about peripheral neuropathy. Let's start with, what is that?
Yeah, it's a pretty common question. If you don't have peripheral neuropathy, you may have heard of it, and some people haven't even heard of it. But in order to discuss what is peripheral neuropathy, I think it's best to talk about what is the peripheral nervous system. So in the body, as anatomists, we break it down into two nervous systems. We've got our central nervous system, which is the brain, and the spinal cord. And so anything peripheral or outside of that, like the nerves that run down your arms, into your hands and into your fingers, that would be a part of the peripheral nervous system. The nerves that run out of your brain into your face, part of the peripheral nervous system, and the nerves that run out into your legs, into your feet and your toes. But also part of that peripheral nervous system are the nerves that run into your enteric part of the body, in other words, your gut.
Okay.
The viscera, that's part of the peripheral nervous system as well. So therefore, peripheral neuropathy, and a pathy in Latin means a diseased or a problem area. So now we would go into what is peripheral neuropathy. So it's a problem with the peripheral nervous system. The most common symptoms that people will complain about would be burning, tingling, numbness. I often get people telling me about weird sensations, like it feels like a leather is underneath my toes or my feet, feels like my socks are balled up in my shoes. And often what goes on with peripheral neuropathy, almost all cases of neuropathy in the feet would be balance issues too, since the brain requires information coming from the feet. So if you can't feel your feet, it makes a very difficult time to balance. So that's a big thing too.
So what causes PN?
Yeah, it's a good question. The number one cause by far is diabetes. So we actually have a name for that. We call it diabetic neuropathy. So blood sugar dysregulation, not being able to regulate your blood sugars, most commonly from our standard American diet, which interestingly enough we abbreviate SAD. It's a sad situation. And then, of course, a lack of exercise, which also doesn't help us to regulate our blood sugars. That is the number one cause. Other causes could be alcoholic or alcohol-related neuropathy, heavy metal poisoning, chemotherapy, induced peripheral neuropathy. Smoking can lead to that as well, and a host of other things as well. Lots of different causes.
All right, we're talking with Dr. Brian Prax here, certified in functional neurology.
You got it, yeah.
And we're talking about peripheral neuropathy, and that's pain, tingling sensations, abnormal sensations in your feet, your hands.
Correct.
Normally,
yeah,
right?
Correct.
All right, so now that we've defined what the problem is, what's the solution? What can we do to help abate this?
Excellent. So yeah, so we have to go back to the cause. So what is the cause? So if the cause is from drinking too much alcohol, we need to stop doing that. And then we're going to have to look at certain vitamin deficiencies, the most common being a B or several B vitamins that are deficient caused from the alcohol situation. If it's a blood sugar regulation problem, the utmost of those problems being diabetes, if it's that, then we have to go ahead and help regulate those blood sugars. And I don't mean just with diabetes medications like metformin and insulin and different things like that. We've got to go in and at a basic level, we've got to look at and get that diet under control. And the problem in America, and mostly even around the world, but especially in America, is we are eating way too many refined carbohydrates. That's the problem. That's what's leading to diabetes. That's what's leading to obesity, overweight, which is then leading to many other preventable diseases, leading to morbidity and mortality, and one of those, of course, being peripheral neuropathy.
So how do we back ourselves off of those carbohydrates? I mean, that's a challenge. You go to the grocery store, you think, oh, I'm going to buy some groceries. Well, most of them are refined carbs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a challenge. It's one that we work with on a daily basis, because those refined carbohydrates, which turn into sugar, is addictive. So, and this stuff can be as addictive as heroin,
right.
And it's feely good food, and it's something that a person's been doing their whole entire life. So there's habits. It's like smoking. You get used to smoking, it calms the nerves, it makes you feel better. So the question you asked again is, how do you do it? How do you kick the habit? And that's what it is. Some people, they're ready to dive into the deep end and just go cold turkey on this stuff. And other people, we kind of have to slowly walk them into the shallow end and then slowly get off of these. But one way or the other, it's got to get under control, and you've got to look at those simple carbohydrates.
Two-part question here. How does this peripheral neuropathy come along? Is it real fast, or does it gradually come up? And how soon should you take care of it if you notice that you've got it? And then how long do these changes take to affect it?
Yes. So the changes, as you might be able to imagine, typically come on slowly. However, things like chemotherapy can bring it on pretty darn fast. And doctors know, oncologists will tell a patient with cancer that, hey, here's the chemotherapy, we've got a good chance of saving your life, but check it out, there's going to be some side effects. You're going to get sick, you might have peripheral neuropathy, you might have this, that, and the other, and that can come on fast. But usually, like with diabetes, neuropathy, that comes on slow over years, if not even decades. So, but amazingly enough, is when we start getting those basic things, like we start getting people moving, exercise, and we stop the offending activity, simple carbohydrates, it is a miraculous turnaround in how fast this can occur. One of the things that we do in the office is we absolutely look at diet. You have to look at the basics. But then when you stop the offending activity, the next thing you have to do is you got to get in and heal those nerves that are dying off in there. So in the office we have several brain-based therapies. Some of those are electrical modalities, some of those are physical modalities that we use, but they're actually designed to stimulate the nerves as a physical therapist would stimulate your arm muscles if your arm has been in a cast and it has led to atrophy. You do certain exercises for the muscles, you stimulate those, and they will grow. The same thing can happen with regenerating nerves. It's actually, there's a word for it, it's called neurogenesis, recreation or new creation of nerves.
All right, and I know you've got this workshop coming up. Tell us what folks are going to learn in that.
Yeah, so that workshop is going to be on Wednesday, June the 8th, and pretty much what we're talking about here, but we go into a lot more detail. So we define it, what is peripheral neuropathy, and we get our charts out and we talk, go a little more in detail about what it is. Mm-hmm. Then what are the causes? Because if you can figure out the cause, then we can back into correcting the problem. And the remarkable thing is unless there's an 85 to 90% loss of those nerves or greater, it can be turned around in the majority of the cases. So in the workshop, we actually talk about this thing that I call the web of physiological dysfunction. And what I mean by that is it's like a spider's web. There's usually way more than just blood sugar regulation. We have that. We oftentimes have spinal issues. We have scoliosis. We have other issues such as obesity. We might have hormonal issues. We might have food sensitivity issues. So we have to really get down and figure out the cause, but more often the causes, and then you go after those and get them corrected as best as possible.
Give us the basics of this workshop that you've got. Where is it? Who's going to be there? Who should come? How much does it cost?
Okay, so the workshop is free. It's going to be on Wednesday, June the 8th, and we'll start it at 5:30. It's going to be at my office, Chronic Care, Charlottesville. And if a listener wants more information, they can reach us at 434-977-5433, or reach us through our website, and that is chroniccarecharlottesville.com. Our office is behind DMV, so it's up by Pantops, the new Starbucks and Chipotle, and Chronic Care Charlottesville is up there.
Dr. Brian Prax,
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Les.
Good. Good stuff. Did it work for you?
Yeah.
Great. We got 9 minutes out of it.
Oh, we did.
Okay. All right. I kept wondering, like, looking for clues, like.
No, it's not hard and fast. That's
Okay.
the beauty. So a good 9 minutes is a good 9 minutes.
Okay.
That's great.
All right.
Thank you.
That's a
very
wrap.
much. I appreciate
All right.
it.
Thank you.
Are you going to do this regularly with me?
I
Is that
think
what
that's the
understand?
plan.
I like it. Good.
Let's get some.